Hey everyone, this is Chase with Priority, and I'm here today with the Beeline Velo 2. It's a new cycling computer, or newer cycling computer, in an ever-expanding market with Wahoo, Garmin, Hammerhead, and all sorts of other companies. This is an interesting device. I'm gonna give it some pros, I'm gonna give it some cons. I think it fits a really specific type of cyclist, and it doesn't fit other types of cyclists. In my opinion, the Velo 2 is the perfect commuter cycling computer. It's great for someone who's trying to get around their city or is visiting a new city and just wants to get around on their bike. It's also great for someone who's just getting into road cycling, who wants to just see how fast they're going and how far they're going as well. It's not going to track your heart rate, it's not going to track your cadence, it's not going to track your VO2 max or anything like that, but it does track the basics. So I commuted on the Velo 2 for about a month back and forth from Brooklyn into Manhattan to our Priority office. It's about 5 miles each way, and it did take me on a bunch of different routes, taking me on the Brooklyn Bridge, the Manhattan Bridge, and the Williamsburg Bridge, in interesting ways that sometimes I hadn't taken before and sometimes that I did. I've also taken it on some road rides, and it did well. It captured the ride, and it was able to upload to Strava. So as far as navigation is concerned on this device, it's pretty bare bones. I think that's going to be a theme for this device. It's very minimalist and very bare bones. Your map on here will basically be a black screen with a white line telling you where to go on the street you need to be on. It's not going to show you every street around you and possible alternative routes. It's just going to tell you where to go and how to get there. Sometimes that bare bones interface can be a little bit tricky with really close together streets or side streets and alleys where it's telling you to turn and it's kind of showing you another one and you're not quite sure which to go down, but most of the time it's pretty evident which street you need to go down and will get you where you need to go in a pretty efficient manner. But the fact that it is bare bones minimalist, it means you don't always need your eyes on the device. You can just do a quick glance to see how far it is to your next turn and how quickly you're going to get there. Me personally, I hate having a phone on my handlebars. It's distracting, and if anything happens on your ride, that becomes a much more expensive issue when you break your phone on your ride than you break this device on your ride. Now, the Velo 2 does need to be connected to your phone at all times, and you do that through the Beeline app. Again, the Beeline app is going to be very minimalist, very bare bones. But on a counterpoint, the Wahoo Element or Garmin Connect app is pretty robust and can get very confusing. I've been on plenty of rides where people's Garmins and Wahoos weren't cooperating, they changed a setting and didn't know what they did, or they couldn't load a route. This is, you turn it on, you load up the app, you put in where you want to go, and it goes and tells you how to get there. It's pretty great and pretty straightforward. Another thing you can do with this, you can link it to a Strava account, which is great. I'm not the type of person that likes to flood a Strava feed with the same 5-mile commute I do every single day, but that is an option if you want to do it. Luckily, the default option for the Velo 2 means you won't automatically upload to Strava. You will select if you want to upload to Strava. So if you're just doing a commute, you don't have to upload it. But if you did a really fun ride with friends and you had this running, you can upload that to Strava with one button press. Now, the device itself. Personally, I think this thing looks great. That's subjective, and some people will disagree with me. But it uses a pretty standard mount that you will see on any GPS, where you just put the elastic bands through it and clip it on. This is a round display, which is way different than your standard rectangular Garmin Wahoo Hammerhead display, which can get huge and bulky on your handlebars and basically only fits out front in front of the stem. You can put this thing anywhere. You can put it on your stem, in front of your handlebars, to the left or right of the handlebars, and it looks fine on there just because it's a small puck that works great. So the device isn't a touchscreen device, but I think that's a benefit. The touchscreen GPS units I've used, I can't stand. They are clunky and I just want to press buttons. This has 4 buttons. It has a down button, up button, left button, and right button. They all have their own unique functions depending on what you're doing with the device at the time. Typically, this is your option button, this is the confirm button, and this is the cancel button. And obviously, with the fact that it uses buttons, especially in the colder months like now, if you're using gloves, you don't ever have to worry about pressing the wrong thing on your Garmin that won't work right. You just hit it and it works great. One thing about this design is it is a full plastic body with, I believe, a glass screen, but because the buttons are kind of, you just press on it, it does feel a little bit more wobbly and less robust than your standard GPS mounts you'll find on the market. So I don't want to say the build quality is bad, but just the way it is, it does feel a little shaky and wobbly. Another feature that Beeline has with this unit is the road rating. And that's basically if you go down a road that the Beeline app has taken you and you don't like it, you can hold the red left button and say, I didn't like that route. And the next time you go anywhere near that road, it will divert you from that road. And it also takes data from other people using the app. If an overall rating of that road is bad, it will divert you. So for example, if you're in a busy area like New York City and people are using this around you, if there is construction on that road, you can rate it negatively and it will divert you around the construction. The caveat to that is it wants to put you on really good routes, which is nice, except when it wants to take you way out of the way to get onto a really nice bike path, and it may add some extra time and distance to your ride, which if you're trying to get to work and you're running a little bit late, yeah, that bike path is nice, but I'd rather just get to work on time. So would I recommend this device over a Garmin or a Wahoo? No. But also, yes. I think if you are that type of cyclist who is just getting into commuting and you don't need to spend a ton of money on all your accessories and bike parts, this works perfectly. This is a great navigation device and this is a great speedometer and odometer. It does everything it says to do pretty much flawlessly. If you want to do stuff like riding your local cycling loop, for me, riding in Prospect Park in Brooklyn, it works great. It just tells me how far I went and how fast I was going pretty much the whole time. There's lots of other cool little features, like when you're navigating, you can go through the menus and it'll tell you, hey, you are this far away from your destination. You can have a progress bar. You can have an estimated arrival time. There's definitely options in there, but it doesn't have the robustness of the Garmin or the Wahoo or the Hammerhead. But I think for a lot of people, that's okay. Not having a million menus to sift through, not having to worry about what screen am I supposed to be on? I don't want to cycle through the climbing screen. I don't want to look at my heart rate screen. I just want to see how fast I've gone, and I also just want to see what time it is. This always has that readily available for you. I think if you're just getting into cycling, just getting into commuting, or road cycling, I think it's an awesome option for a first step. So at the time of recording, the Beeline Velo 2 is retailing for around $99, which is an incredible value when you look at the competition. The least expensive option from Garmin is $200, double the price. When we get into the more robust, more popular options from Garmin and Wahoo, we get to the $300 price point as a baseline. And that doesn't include all the sensors and the other stuff that comes with cycling computers. This is it, this is all you need, and it's $100 right now. So if you're a serious road cyclist, gravel cyclist, mountain biker, whatever it is, it's not gonna fulfill all your needs. It's not gonna give you the data that you want to see. But if you just need the most basic data and you need it easily and readily available, it fits that niche really perfectly. And even if you are a serious cyclist, if you have a single speed or hybrid commuter that you don't want to switch your Garmin over to all the time, this is an awesome thing to keep on there just to keep track of the miles you're racking up every week. So if you need a simple, straightforward, no-nonsense cycling computer, this is the way to go, especially for the value it offers. There are better options out there, but they cost way more. And in a very positive way, you get what you pay for. With Beeline being relatively new in the cycling computer space, I'm very excited to see where they can go with a device like this in the future. And you can check out all of their stuff on their website, which we will link down below.